Hi, I'm Guang Xiao, and my history research project is about using DNA as evidence for solving crimes. My thesis is that while DNA evidence can help solve crimes, mistakes still can be made because it is not a perfect tool for placing an individual at the scene of a crime at the time the crime was committed. The DNA evidence may be found at the scene of the crime. There are many potential sources of DNA evidence, including objects such as dirty clothing, empty bottles or cans, eyeglasses, or even a stamp or toothpick. Another source of DNA can be blood stains or even one drop of blood. DNA evidence is collected at the scene of a crime and must be handled carefully to avoid any contamination. Experts examine the location for objects that may possibly have DNA from the perpetrator of the crime. Once the objects that may contain the DNA of the perpetrator have been collected, they must be transferred to the police evidence locker where they will be documented and logged in. This is the first step in the chain of custody, which is a technical term used to track the location of the DNA evidence. This is important to prevent any possible tampering with evidence of our accidental contamination of the evidence. The samples will be stored until the investigators determine that DNA could possibly be used to identify the suspect or confirm that the suspect was at the scene of the crime. Then the samples will be delivered to a laboratory for examination. If the investigators think that the DNA will help solve the crime, it will be delivered to a laboratory where it will be evaluated and the DNA of the samples will be determined. This DNA sequence can be used to see if there is a match with the person accused of the crime. While DNA evidence can help solve crimes, mistakes can still be made because it is not a perfect tool for placing an individual at the scene of a crime. At the time the crime was committed, the accused may have visited the crime scene at a different time. For example, if the suspect is a friend of the victim, they may have visited the crime scene very often. DNA can inadvertently be transported by someone other than the owner of the DNA from one location to another on a person's clothing, shoes, or other objects. These possibilities not only made it difficult to convict a person with the DNA evidence, but also created potential for convicting a person of a crime that they did not commit. At trial, in which DNA evidence is presented, the jury must decide if the district attorney has shown that the DNA connects the accused to the crime scene at the time the crime was committed. If they cannot convince the jury beyond reasonable doubt, then the DNA evidence will not be enough for them to reach a guilty verdict. DNA evidence can help investigators, but it is not a perfect tool for solving crimes. So these are my references for this project, and here's all the links of the works that are cited. Thank you, and bye. That's all.